السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hello. In this video we will see the third chapter, which is about Diploblastic Metazoa. In this clade we have three phyla: Porifera, Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Porifera is a phylum of simple multicellular animals that are aquatic and found in marine environments, although some species can also be found in freshwater habitats. Their body is made with specialized cells that perform specific functions. They lack true tissues and organs. They have a unique body structure consisting of numerous pores, canals, and chambers, and they are sessile. It means that they are attached to a substrate and have a diverse range of shapes and sizes. The body of a sponge is perforated with numerous tiny openings called pores or ostia. These pores lead to a system of canals and chambers. Inside these canals, sponges have specialized cells called choanocytes or color cells. Choanocytes have a flagellum surrounded by a color-like structure, which they use to create water currents and filter food particles. Sponges have a skeleton composed of supportive structures called spicules. Spicules can be made by calcium carbonate, silica, or a protein called spongin. In the phylum of sponges, we state three classes. We have here the class of Cassispongia. They are characterized by calcareous spicules of relatively homogeneous shape. They are characterized also by the presence of three larval stages, ascon, sycon, and leucon, and their classification is based on the appearance of the gastric cavity. We have two subclasses, Calcinia and Calcaronia. The second class is the class of Demospongia. They possess siliceous spicules or spongin fibers, or both. We have three superorders: Homoscleromorpha, Tetractinomorpha, and Seractinomorpha. The third class is Hexactinellida. They possess siliceous spicules only. The only main subclass is Amphidiscophora. For example, we have Euplectilla aspergillum. The second phylum is Cnidaria. Cnidarians are aquatic animals, including jellyfish, sea anemones, corals, and hydroids. Cnidarians exhibit radial symmetry, which means their body parts are arranged around the central axis. Their radial symmetry allows them to respond to stimuli from all directions. Typically, they have cylindrical body plan with tentacles surrounding a central mouth. Cnidarians have true tissues, which means their cells are organized into distinct layers. They exist in two different forms: the sessile form with the body attached to a substrate called polyp, and the free-swimming form called medusa. Some species exhibit only one form, while others alternate between both forms during different stages of their life cycle. The first class is the class of Hydrozoa. They are very small predatory animals. Some hydrozoans are solitary and some others are colonial. Most of hydrozoans live in saline water, but a few genera live in freshwater habitats. They have a simple gastric cavity, which means it is not partitioned, and their mouth is not followed by a pharynx. We have an example here, the genus Physalia from the order Siphonophora. It is a colony which typically consists of respiratory organ, the pneumatophore, bearing floating bells, and then the xyphosome. Another example is the genus Diphis, where the pneumatophore doesn't exist, but the floating role is carried by two swimming bells. The second class is the class of Xyphozoa. Their gastric cavity is divided into four incomplete endodermal partitions. They have an important medusa phase and brief polyp phase. The medusa have big size. They are characterized by asexual reproduction. For example, we have the species Aurelia aurita. This is the life cycle of Aurelia aurita. The larva is called planula, which will settle into a solid substrate and develops into a polyp. The polyp form before strobylation is called xyphostoma, and after strobylation is called strobila. The ephori break free and develop to medusa. The third class is the class of Anthozoa. They exist only as solitary or colonial polyps. The gastric cavity is separated by complete endodermal partitions forming compartments. The pharynx is provided with one or two ciliated grooves, the siphonoglyph. Anthozoa are characterized by the frequent presence of spicules. Sexes are generally separate, and the classification is based on the number of tentacles and gastric compartments. Here we have an example of Anthozoa. This species is called Corallium rubrum. The main difference between the three classes is their gastric cavity. The gastric cavity of Anthozoa is separated by complete partitions forming compartments. The gastric cavity of Xyphozoa is divided into 4 incomplete partitions, and Hydrozoa have a simple gastric cavity which is not partitioned at all. Another diploblastic phylum is Ctenophora. Ctenophora are comb jellies. They are transparent, marine, solitary, hermaphrodite, planktonic, and pelagic individuals. They have a fundamental bilateral symmetry determined by the mouth and the statocyte. Their mesoglia is thick. It contains many cells, and their larvae present a kind of true mesoderm. They are characterized by the presence of 8 rows of ciliated plates arranged longitudinally forming kind of combs. They are also characterized by the presence of cells with adhesive properties, called colloblasts. They are used to capture prey. The classification is based on the presence or absence of tentacles. There are 2 classes. The first class is the class of Tentaculata. The common feature of Tentaculata is a pair of long contractile tentacles. The tentacles have colloblasts. The second class is Atentaculata or Nuda. They are distinguished by the complete absence of tentacles. In these pictures, we have at right 2 pictures of Atentaculata species without tentacles, and at left 1 species of Tentaculata bearing a pair of long tentacles. In the 4th chapter, we will see the acylomed triploblastics. Assalamu alaikum.